Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever, depending on where or when you are. I'm going to be talking about time, what and few theories, time dilations, finally time travel, and few paradoxes. First, what's time? How can you define time? Time is defined as a measure in which events or anything which happens can be ordered from the past through the present into the future, along with durations between them, otherwise known as the fourth dimension. There are few theories based on time. Time is a part of the fundamental structure of the universe. It is dependent on events which occur in sequence. This is stated by Isaac Newton and is called Newtonian time. To summarize, time exists independent of any perceiver and progresses in a consistent pace throughout the universe. Another theory is that it's not a container that in which events and objects move through or that flows, but instead a part of the fundamental intellectual structure in which human sequence and compare events. This was stated by Gottfried Leibniz or Immanuel Kant. You know, Leibniz and Newton have a huge war going through time, all through time. They fought over calculus and all stuff. I'm not talking about that. So, just to summarize this, time is neither an event or a thing or anything which can be measured, travel through. It basically doesn't exist according to this. So, it is a theory in which space is relative location of bodies, and while time is relative movement of bodies. Okay, here are a few units of time which may be useful. The smallest measurable one is altosecond, which is 10 power minus 18 seconds. A jiffy you should have heard about. It's pretty commonly used, but it's very small. Instant is almost zero. Planck second is like seconds after the Big Bang. And a moment which you wouldn't have known about is 1.5 minutes. So now let's talk about various religions which talk about time. So tribes of Incan, Mayan, Hopi, all talked about time. They taught field of time, cycle of time. So they thought that the universe contracts and ends, and again the wheel continues cycle. Other religions have various views according to the color burst, time is a paradox, an illusion, and all future, past, and present happen simultaneously. This is actually a pretty good observation. So now the interesting part is time dilation. First, time dilation. For understanding time dilation, you need to know the fact that speed of light is invariant of reference frame. That is necessary theory of relativity as stated by Einstein. Few actual examples are the ages of astronauts in the International Space Station and even satellites suffer from time dilation. Presently, astronauts lose around 0.005 seconds in 6 months who are presently in ISS. Time dilation can be because of either relative velocity or different gravitational fields. Due to relative velocity, imagine two rockets are going past each other with the same velocity, take A and B. Now first take A and B as a reference frame. People on A with as a reference frame feel normal and they think the time is going normally and observe when they could observe B. It looks as if B is going slow. The time B is slow. The people are walking slowly, say should be. But on the other hand, people on B perceive time on A as slow, and they see themselves as normal timing. So this is relative. So now the question is, if should A and B both think that each other is slower, and who's actually slower when they decide to meet? So what I feel about this thing is, when they meet, they travel towards each other. So each of them will speed up like relative to each other, and once they meet, they'll be in the same time. Okay, now the other thing is due to different gravitational fields. So gravitational time dilation. Here's the opposite one. This is the opposite. As more velocity, you slow down. So, for example, the International Space Station, it is because both observers are differently situated from the significant gravitational mass, that is, the center of gravity. They are at different distances from center of gravity. So, okay, now let me explain a little about time dilation of relative velocity. So, knowing about the fact the speed of light is invariant, this can be proved. For example, redshift is also a type of this. Consider two bodies moving relative to each other, A and B. A is fixed and B is moving towards or against it or parallel to it. A beam of light is shown on A from B. You observe from A the light which travels to you in time t, t naught or ta. Hence, the total time according to A will be 2A for time for it to come and go again, and separation is L, and the speed of light is c, which is invariant. So time will become 2L by c. Now take B as observer. He's moving at a considerable speed compared to the speed of light c. He shows the beam according to him is a little more farther at distance d. By Pythagoras theorem, it's obviously far it's a right angle triangle. But takes the same time B according to him. Will feel like time B is equal to time A for him, but actually time B will be greater because distance is greater. The speed of light is constant. So the 2D by C will be the time, and hence D being bigger, it will be much higher. But he will feel the same, but it's actually higher. So time for him goes slower. So actually takes more time, but he feels it the same time. So time loss will be 2D by C minus 2L by C. So now it's time for paradoxes in time travel. Given that we have a Newtonian world where time travel is possible, and what are the consequences? The common paradox is the causal loop or the bootstrap paradox. A person goes back in time, does something which causes an event which he has as a younger self before, which he knew, which he read, and it happens again. So this is called ontological paradox or predestined paradox. The best example is in the movie Back to the Future. Marty goes to the past, sings some song which is overheard by a singer which he sings, and the future self of Marty, the past self of Marty in the future hears this, and again this loop continues. So this is a stable paradox. So let's see other kinds of paradox. The second type was the grandfather paradox. Suppose a person goes to the past, changes something to change the event which he reads about in the past of himself, which is in the future. So he changes his own timeline, but this does not make any sense. If he reads in the future about this event, but he changes this and he ends up not reading it. So, and he could not have traveled to the time to change this event which he never heard of. But by the question, by a quantum theory model of the universe, which suggests parallel worlds and time streams, you can end up joining an alternative time stream where such an event never happened. So it's like a time stream is like a tree of branches, and each time a decision or each second happens, many other branches are formed based on a decision, but based on the things happen in the future, that happen in the world. So you can travel down this tree of the time stream and can come up with a different branch in a different world, an alternative world, but still doesn't change anything in your world, your original world. Okay, now when you consider a Newtonian time, you can't change stuff however hard you try. So when you travel to the past to try changing things, you can't change it. In the future, you can change it, as in the future you got to know about these events and these trials to change the past have already happened. So you can't do anything. How many other times you try to change anything, you can't do anything, as you have already tried and you have failed, which forces your younger self to read about the present event, that event which you try to change, and become an older self who goes to the past, who again fails, and same thing continues. So hope you understood that. So this is called the Polinsky's paradox. You cannot stop yourself from going to the past or stop an event from happening which is in your law knowledge. Now you might think you can change the past by coming back in time, changing stuff, and then write a letter to yourself in future. And to do so, so that you can change what happens and instruct yourself to write the similar letter for your future self again. So you can write a letter again. He comes and changes, blah blah, same thing happens again. So this is another kind of paradox. This might work, but it's very unstable paradox, and it's very hard to maintain the loop.